In this world, everyone has a tumor growing out of their head, and the moment emotions spiral out of control, that tumor explodes. To survive, Chong Mo has spent his life suppressing every outburst, enduring the madness of those around him. But today, something changed because of her. For the first time, he witnessed a different outcome. Instead of dying, the headless President Zhang turned into a monster, and it was that woman who pointed it out. The one who's been calm and rational all along is actually the most infected of them all. It all began when Chong Mo was 10. That was the first time he saw a tumor on his mother's head. He thought it was just a hallucination, a side effect of grief after losing his father. But then his mom started losing her temper more and more, and the tumor just kept growing until one day it exploded. It wasn't until years later that Chong Mo learned this was a disease, a condition known as emotion sickness. From that moment on, he never allowed himself to get angry again. But today, a single sentence from that woman shattered his control because for the first time, he heard the true cause of his mother's death. It happened during a company party at Skybound Studios' art department. Director Zhang Yanfa blew up over a seeded watermelon and warm wine, cursing at his assistant. But the assistant Wu Jingjing snapped back, "Then don't eat it. You got so many problems, just go die." That outburst sparked a chain reaction. "Can you all shut up? It's a party, not a damn battleground." Trying to calm things down, Chong Mo quickly stepped in. "Let's cool off. Director Zhang, I'll get you a new drink and watermelon." Jingjing, I apologize on his behalf. But without warning, Zhang smashed a wine bottle at his head. "The hell does this have to do with you?" The room fell into dead silence. You could hear a pin drop, and just like that, the tantrum faded and Zhang Yanfi regained his calm. Director Zhang clung to Chong Mo, apologizing over and over. Only when Chong Mo calmly said, "It's really fine," did he finally let go, as long as everyone calms down. Soon, the party was back in full swing. Laughter returned. Meanwhile, Chong Mo stood in the corner quietly wiping blood from his forehead. Elie, a female coworker who often flirted with him, blinked in disbelief. "That's it. You're just gonna let it go? You're something else." He gave a helpless smile. "What choice do I have? I'm probably the only normal one in this whole department. Besides, you've seen it too. Right? The real reason they all lose control are the sacs growing on their heads." Right then, Director Jean started another shouting match with someone else. And this time, the tumor on his head had grown much bigger. It was on the verge of exploding. Chong Mo sighed and stepped forward again, ready to intervene. But Elie stopped him with a sharp observation. "You don't actually care if they live or die, do you?" He paused, then replied flatly, "No. But if someone dies, it becomes a huge mess." The very next second, Zhang's tumor reached its limit, and instead of dying, he transformed into a terrifying, monstrous creature. That scene shattered everything Chong Mo thought he knew. The man arguing with Director Zhang shouted, "You think barking like a dog scares me?" Before he could finish, his upper body vanished instantly. Chaos erupted. Screams filled the air as everyone scrambled to escape, but Chong Mo stood frozen, still trying to make sense of what he'd just seen. Why did Chong turn into a monster? "But my mom died when hers exploded." Elie noticed his daze and quickly pulled him away. "Come on, we got to move. Didn't you know? When a sacs burst, people don't die. They become emotion monsters, creatures completely consumed by their feelings, and through them, they can unleash supernatural powers to vent their rage and pain." "Then why did my mom die?" he pressed. Elie only said, "Just wait. You'll see soon enough." Sure enough, Zhang's head exploded again, and this time, he didn't get back up. He collapsed to the ground motionless. The crowd stood in stunned silence. "Did you guys see that?" Director Zhang's head, it just exploded out of nowhere. Chong Mo furrowed his brows. "Wait, they really didn't see it?" Elie nodded. "That's right. Normal people can't see any of it. Not Zhang's transformation into a monster, not the creature that devoured his head, none of it. And that is how your mother truly died. Just like Zhang, she mutated into an emotion monster only to be devoured by another. To be more precise, she was eaten by someone who can control emotion monsters. These creatures are spiritually linked to their masters. Track the monster and you'll find the one pulling the strings." Then Chong Mo's eyes widened. The man standing near Zhang's body looked familiar. "Wait, wasn't that Lu Jia, my childhood neighbor?" Elie's face darkened. "Correct. On the surface, he's now the vice president of Langchao International. But behind the scenes, he commands emotion monsters to devour humans. This whole incident all orchestrated by him." He spreads emotional viruses, drives people into frenzies, and once they mutate into emotion monsters, he hunts them down to feed his power. From a moment you stepped into this party, you walked straight into his hunting ground. And based on my intel, his first prey was your mother. Your mother lost control because he infected her with an anger-based emotional virus. Then let his emotion monster devour her. The man who destroyed your family was him. But to Elie's surprise, Chong Mo didn't explode with rage. Instead, he calmly asked, so he only targets people who've already mutated into emotion monsters? Once she confirmed it, Chong Mo turned to leave. Then I'm safe. I'll never be infected because I'm always rational. Elie blinked in disbelief. That's it? You're walking away? He killed your mother. Aren't you going to do anything? But Chong Mo stayed calm. Charging in now would be suicide, and this was all just a word. Wow. You're disturbingly calm. But let me ask you, what makes you think you're not sick? Chong Mo froze in place. What are you saying? I'm saying you're actually the most infected one of all. And in that moment, a massive tumor emerged, pulsing above Chong Mo's head. From the very beginning, Lu Jia's true target was you. The one he's most desperate to mutate, the one he wants to devour most is you. Just then, Lu casually walked up patting Chong Mo on the shoulder. Hey there, little Chong. Long time no see. Look at you all grown up. Chong Mo turned around calmly. Sorry. You must have the wrong person. Lu Jia chuckled. Always the funny one. Come on, let's catch up a bit. I know this might sound rude, but could you do me a little favor? Would you mind getting angry? He said before suddenly driving a hard kick into Chong Mo's gut, sending him flying several meters. The noise instantly drew the attention of nearby employees. What the hell? Did he just hit Chong? I didn't catch it. What happened? Seriously? After what happened to Director Zhang, this guy starts more drama. Elie rushed over and helped him up. Are you okay? Lu Jia sneered. TCH, no reaction. You really don't give a damn about yourself? In that case, with a snap of his fingers, sparks began to flicker on the body of a nearby colleague. And in the next moment, the entire person burst into flames. The sudden blaze sent the crowd into a panic. What's going on? That side's on fire too. Could it be a gas leak? Lu Jia smirked darkly. I just burned your coworkers alive. Does that make you angry? Weren't they always nice to you? Didn't expect you to be just 18. So young, already working. Want me to set you up with someone? My sister's still in college. Or hey, if you don't mind, I could do. I'm only a year older. Kidding. Or am I? Little Chong, let's grab lunch later. Alright? Don't worry about the bill. I already paid. You're just starting out after all. Even as they were being reduced to burnt husks. Their final words were, Chong Mon, one by one. They were all consumed by the flames, leaving nothing behind. But in Lu Jia's eyes, it was no different from squashing ants. They're all ashes now and you're still not reacting? You really are something, but don't bother lying to me. I can see it. Your rage sac is swelling. No rush. Take your time. After all, I haven't even told you yet, I'm the one who killed your mom. Let's see how long you can keep pretending. Deep down, Chong Mo always knew he wasn't as calm as he looked. Whether it was his emotionally unstable coworkers or those random strangers looking for trouble. He constantly felt the urge to lash out, to tear them apart, but he never acted on it because he knew their outbursts weren't intentional. The guilt in their eyes, the regret after the rage, it always triggered memories from his past. The image of his mother crying and apologizing after every episode, losing control, drowning in emotions. All it ever led to was regret. That's why he kept himself chained, repeating to himself, stay calm, stay rational. That's how it's always been. But now, what reason did he have to stay rational anymore? Why not give in, become a monster, tear Lu Jia to pieces, and finally avenge his mother and friends? It's not like he had anything left to lose, but then why? Why was he still holding back? Why hadn't he transformed despite being consumed by rage? Elie's eyes widened in shock. You want to mutate? If you do, you'll be killed. And what? Not mutating means I'll survive. Chong Mo growled, then I might as well lose it and go down swinging. Elie fell silent, her voice heavy with regret. I know it's hard to hear, but the truth is you can't mutate, not anymore. Lu Jia looked over annoyed. Seriously? He's still muttering to himself? What is he doing? Trying to talk himself down. Fine. Guess it's time I taught you a real lesson. But his words struck a chord in Chong Mo's mind. Self-talk, wait a minute. You finally realized it. In the next moment, Elie began to shift, her form fading, the illusion unraveling. From the very beginning, you were the only one who could see me. Chong Mo's mind raced trying to make sense of it, but before he could act, Lu Jia's attack was already crashing down. Suddenly, Lu Jia froze. His eyes widened in shock as he stared ahead. In Chong Mo's mind, Elie's voice echoed. The reason you couldn't transform before is because the moment you saw me, you were already infected by me, and you became an emotion monster of rationality. Lu Jia's jaw dropped as he saw what stood before him. A creature bound in heavy chains with a pitch-black void where its face should be. What the hell is that thing? Even Chong Mo stood stunned. That thing was his emotion monster? Wait, rationality counts as an emotion. And if I already transformed long ago, why could I only see it now? And this woman, I thought she was just a coworker, but she's the one who infected me, the one who caused this change. Who is she really? As if reading his thoughts, Yahello said softly, I know you have questions, but there's no time for all the answers right now. Just know this, rationality is the most unique emotion of all. It has the power to suppress every other emotion, including Lu Jia's rage. And as for why you couldn't see your own emotion monster before, it's simple, she added. In this world, you can only see what you're aware of. Lu Jia's composure cracked. No, this is bad. His monster isn't clinging to him, standing far away. That means he's not a slave to it. He's like me. He's become an emotive entity, someone who controls the monster. But don't get cocky just yet, Lu Jia sneered. You think a freshly awakened monster like yours can take me on? With a roar, Lu Jia launched a blazing fireball straight at Chong Mo. But the very next second, his eyes widened in shock. The attack passed right through. Shanghaimu looked just as confused, but Elie quickly explained, you can't control your emotion monster yet. That means it can't interact with the real world. Right now, it's more like a projection. It's not truly here, not physically. Lu Jia's eyes narrowed as realization dawned. So that thing's still trapped in your mindscape. You haven't synced with it at all. Chong Mo, you're dead. With another snarl, he hurled a second fireball, but this one was different. It shifted in mid-air, transforming into a flaming beast that bit down on Chong Mo's head, and yet something was wrong. No matter how hard it bit, the fire creature couldn't pierce Chong Mo's skull at all. From the side, Elie calmly explained, because you suppressed your anger for so long, your rationality has built an incredibly high resistance to rage. That kind of attack, it's like a tickle to you. Now, it was Lu Jia's turn of panic. You arrogant bastard, don't get cocky with me, he shouted. He roared and sent the flaming beast soaring into the air, dragging Chong Mo up with it. Chong evidenced, his attacks can't hurt me, but I still can't control my monster, which means I'm stuck on defense. But Yahello called out, the solution's simple. Just borrow power from your emotion monster. And in the next instant, under Lu Jia's stunned gaze, Chong Mo unleashed a blast of rationality, detonating the flaming creature into 1,000 sparks. Lu Jia himself was blown backwards, crashing hard into the ground. Meanwhile, Chong Mo landed effortlessly, completely unscathed, and in his hand was a shard of borrowed power from his rational emotion monster, sharp, steady, and devastatingly precise. Lu Jia was in full panic now. I get it. He borrowed power from his emotion monster, but just 2 fingers and he shatter my monster? No way. He's a newly awakened emotional entity. There's no way. I need to escape. If I could just get off this boat, Ron. But there was no way Chong Mo was letting him go. In the next second, he launched forward, charging straight at Lu Jia like a bullet. Still, a question lingered in his mind. Wait, didn't I destroy his emotion monster? Then how is he still using fire-based attacks? Elie answered calmly. Emotion monsters don't die so easily. They simply stop existing in this world for now. Meanwhile, the chase had taken him outside onto the deck. It was only now that Chong Mo realized they were on a massive luxury cruise ship, the world-famous Sea Emperor. And at that very moment, the Sea Emperor was sailing through the coastal waters just off Donghai City. Just then, Elie urgently warned, chasing down an emotional entity on this cruise ship is incredibly dangerous. According to public info, the Sea Emperor is a world-famous cruise liner. Its routes span the globe, and right now it's docked off the coast of Donghai City, one of the hottest tourist spots around. After Donghai's waters turned pitch black from the oil disaster, only a handful of vessels were allowed in. The Sea Emperor is one of them. Skybound Group really went all out, throwing a department party here for your art team? But here's the thing. This ship isn't just a resort. It's run by emotional entities. They trade here, they live here, and they're served here. One of their premium services, hunting regular humans. So attacking an emotion body here, that's like picking a fight with the owners of the Sea Emperor. And Lu Jia, he's one of their VIP elites. How powerful is this ship's security? Put it this way, one finger from the wrong guy and you're dead. So finish this quickly. If you don't, you'll never get another chance and you can't afford the backlash. Hearing that, Chong Mo's eyes sharpened. He surged forward like a bullet blasting toward Lu Zhao with everything he had. Meanwhile, inside the VIP lounge of the Sea Emperor, a few guests were admiring a grotesque art piece made entirely of a young girl's bones. Victor Lee of the Wild Frontier Consortium stood proudly. Allow me to introduce this work, The Sad Girl. After her death, her skin was peeled back, revealing a skeleton that ironically appears to be laughing. The juxtaposition between death and joy gives a tremendous visual impact. He added with a smirk, but here's the special part. This isn't a replica. It's a real girl and not just anyone. She was the daughter of a prime minister. Today, I present this gift to the Sea Emperor. Thank you for facilitating our most promising partnership. Captain Lu Yong responded courteously. Your group just secured the Starlink market and you already sent over the Prime Minister's daughter? Ruthless and impressive. Anna Chris of the Ugly Duckling Survival Club took a slow drag of her cigarette. I'd heard the Prime Minister was unwilling to cooperate, but this, gotta admit, creative punishment. Miss Song Hui Wei, second daughter of the powerful Song family from Desya, nodded in admiration. Say what you will, this is real taste. To become art of this caliber, that girl should feel honored. Zhao Yan, the bishop of the cult Black Chain in Donghai chuckled. I'm curious. You're already eyeing Daxia? Victor Lee shrugged. That's business. Evolve or die. With the competition heating up, we gotta strike early. As for Daxia, I'll be counting on your cooperation. Suddenly, a voice cut in. My lords, Lu Jia has already killed Skybound Groups, our director. But there's been a complication. He got cocky and tried to hunt a second target, but that prey mutated and is now beating Lu Jia half to death. Miss Song Hui scoffed, useless trash. If he weren't tied to that esteemed figure, do you really think a weakling like him would be allowed to hunt freely on this ship? Victor Lee raised an eyebrow. This esteemed figure you all keep mentioning, who is it exactly? Song Hui replied coolly. For the sake of smooth cooperation, I'd suggest not asking questions. Captain Lu Yang chimed in. To overpower Lu Jia right after transforming, that's quite the talent. Fine. Don't let Lu Jia die just yet. He's only a pawn, clueless as he is, but we owe that figure some respect. Also, lock down the deck. No other emotion entities are to approach, but the regular people run if they want. As for the one attacking Lu Jia, no known background, wipe him out. Back on deck, Lu Jia was already barely breathing, bloodied, battered, and barely conscious. And just as Chong Mo prepared to deliver the finishing blow, Lu Zhao cried out in panic, Are you insane? You're really gonna kill me here on the ship? Seeing that Chong Mo wasn't backing down, Lu Jia panicked. Wait, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Spare me and I'll do anything you want. But Chong Mo's steps didn't falter, his eyes cold as steel. Lu Xia screamed, Your mother. I know who really killed your mother. If you kill me, you'll never find out the truth. He thought that would be enough to stop Chong Mo. He even felt a moment of relief until in the blink of an eye, Chong Mo's claw tore straight into his arm. After venting his fury, Chong Mo growled, Wasn't you who killed my mother? No. It's not what you think. Lu Jia shouted, Back when you lived in Old Street, there was an emotional entity living there. He spread emotion sickness in secret, then hunted the newly awakened emotion monsters. I was infected by him. That's how I became one of them, but he didn't kill me. He helped me stabilize and made me his servant. He forced me to infect others, push them into transformation, then killed them. He harvested their emotion energy to grow stronger himself. Chong Mingan narrowed his eyes. Then who is he and where is he now? Lu Jia suddenly broke in a crazed laughter. He's someone untouchable now. If he finds out you killed me, you're dead too. He is. But right before the name escaped his lips, Lu Jia froze. His face twisted in pure terror. No, I can't. If I say it, that man, he'll never let me live. Chong Mo had had enough. With a cold glare, he raised his claws ready to finish Lu Jia once and for all. But just as the strike was about to land, a figure appeared out of thin air, a sharply dressed butler. His lips moved softly. I command your heart to stop beating. In the very next moment, Chong Mo's heart seized, locked in place by an invisible force. His body stiffened, then dropped like a stone to the deck, lifeless. The butler calmly adjusted his gloves, then turned to Luja and bowed slightly. "Apologies, sir. I arrived late." Realizing the butler was on his side, Luja's confidence surged back instantly. He stomped on Chong Mo's head and sneered. "What's the matter? Weren't you all high and mighty? Come on, kill me now." But just as the words left his mouth, Chong Mo twitched. In a flash, he shot upright, causing Luja to yelp and scramble behind the butler in panic. The butler frowned, visibly confused. "Why are you still alive?" Chong Mo was just as confused. "What just happened to me?" Thanks to Elie's explanation, he finally understood. The butler had used the power of a pride-type emotion monster, issuing a direct command to his heart, "Stop beating." Chong Mo's eyes widened. "That's insane. Isn't that basically invincible?" Elie nodded. "His emotion monster is 2 major tiers above yours. You had no way to resist his command. If your emotional alignment weren't rationality, which naturally resists other emotions, you'd be dead by now. That man is an opponent you absolutely cannot defeat right now." Chong Mo frowned. "Then why can't I see his emotion monster?" Elie replied, "Same reason you couldn't see yours before. His monster is deep within the mind realm, the place where emotion monsters primarily reside. Your monster had lingered near the boundary between the mind realm and the real world, which is why Luja could see it. But once an emotion monster sinks fully into the mind realm, it becomes nearly impossible to detect." At that moment, Luja sneered and turned to the butler. "TCH, this guy's got some luck. Not dead yet. Even better. You know what to do." The butler nodded slightly and muttered under his breath, "I command you, kneel." In the next instant, Chong Mo's body buckled. He dropped to his knees without any control. He couldn't move, not a finger, not even blink in resistance. Elie explained quietly, "That's the nature of a pride-type emotion monster. The less harmful the command, the harder it is to resist. And with that level difference, he never stood a chance." Now that pathetic excuse of a man, Luja strode up to Chong Mo, grinning. Without a word, he slapped Chong Mo hard across the face. Then he leaned in, mocking, "What happened? Weren't you tough? Out for revenge? You? Your mom was just a bottom feeder. We emotion types can do whatever we want her. And since you seem so curious, allow me to repay your little outburst earlier by walking you through exactly what happened the day your mother transformed. I remember it perfectly. The day your mom transformed, she was unusually calm. She wasn't under emotional influence. She bought groceries, cooked dinner, wanted to apologize for losing her temper earlier. Tomato braised beef, right? Your favorite. Too bad the whole floor was soaked in blood. Even the ceiling had splatter. The stew burned to a crisp. She became a target because that lord casually joked, "Why not make the next prey that single mom next door?" At first, I objected. Your mom was kind. Back when I was broke, she used to bring me food. But watching her unravel, watching you fall from peace into ruin, I started to enjoy it. That feeling of controlling someone's life, tearing their joy away. If I say she transforms, she transforms. If I say she's food, then she becomes food. Those words ignited something in Chong Mo. Fury boiled over. He struggled to rise and rip Luja apart. But the butler moved first, raising his hand, and Chong Mo's body froze mid-motion. Then came the next command, "I order you, kneel. Bow your head. Apologize to Luja." And once again, Chong Mo collapsed to his knees, his body betraying him, forced to bow and slam his forehead to the ground. At that moment, Luja turned to the butler and said smugly, "That's enough. Now, I want him to make the choice himself. I'm giving you a chance, swear loyalty. Become my dog. Bark twice and you live, otherwise D." Suddenly, Elie's voice echoed in Chong Mo's mind. "So what will you do?" He was silent for a moment, then turned the question back. "Shouldn't I be asking you that? You're the one who made me an emotion monster. You know too much about Luja, the ship, everything. You saw all of this coming, didn't you?" Staring straight in her eyes, his voice was calm but unyielding. "Just tell me what you really want. Whatever it is, I'll do it." Elie smiled faintly and stepped forward, wrapping her arms around him from behind. "You only have to do one thing, accept my power." In the blink of an eye, the smug and taunting Lu Zhao was blasted across the deck, sent flying by a terrifying surge of power erupting from Chong Mo. A crystalline formation shimmered atop his head, something entirely new, something beyond emotion. Lu Xia and the butler both froze, thinking he had finally lost control, but what they didn't know was that Chong Mo's consciousness had already descended into a realm of pure void. Sadness, joy, surprise, excitement, none of it remained. All emotion gone. All that was left was cold, perfect calculation. His emotional sack materialized before him, solid, physical, and whole. But then it shattered into a million pieces scattered across the darkness, and from those shards emerged memories, warm, peaceful moments with his mother. Then the pain, his father's funeral, the coffin lowering into the earth, his mother's breakdowns, her screams, her rage, her smashed dishes, then the apologies, her tears as she held him, whispering she was sorry. Then her corpse, cold, lifeless, and beside it, that monster Lu Jia, smirking like a god. But those memories didn't break him. No, they reforged him. In that space of nothingness, Chong Mo evolved. He became something entirely new. Staring at his reflection in the void, Chong Mo almost didn't recognize himself. This version of him felt foreign and yet, right? Elie's voice echoed in his mind, calm and knowing. Good. Your sack held enough rage to anchor you. That's the only reason you were able to retain your identity when channeling my power. Remember this, when a moment comes, you must let go of your rationality. That's the only way to wield rational power. Otherwise, it will consume you. You'll become a monster ruled by logic itself. Now go and enjoy your revenge. As her words faded, the crystalline growth on Chong Mo's head exploded, shards of light raining outward like falling stars. Then came the blue flames surging from his body in waves until they collapsed inward, folding into him, concentrating into a dense aura that made the air tremble. But seeing his energy suddenly vanish, Lu Jia burst out laughing. That's it. All that build-up and you just fart out a blue puff? What a damn letdown. But the butler didn't share Lu Jia's smugness. His expression darkened. He knew what had just happened. Chong Mo's energy hadn't disappeared. No, it had transcended. His emotional power had reached a level so high they could no longer perceive it. At that very moment, deep within the VIP lounge, the elites aboard the Sea Emperor all felt it, a wave of invisible pressure washing over them. That pressure, it could only belong to a world-class emotion entity. Victor Lee narrowed his eyes. Didn't expect another world tier aboard. You think they're here for us? Miss Song Hui speculated could be an ally of the one beating Lu Jia, or maybe someone targeting that man directly. But Captain Lu Yong remained composed. No need for concern. It doesn't matter who they are. If they dare disrespect the Sea Emperor, even a world class won't leave here alive. Back on the deck, Lu Jia's face twisted in disbelief after hearing the butler's words. His level beyond our perception. Are you kidding me? Him? That weakling. The butler spoke grimly. I didn't want to believe it either, but it's the truth. You can't sense it, but I can barely see it. It's above us like a walking cataclysm. That kind of presence, it's the same as the top-tier elites. That's world-class pressure. The butler yelled, "Run now." It was already too late. In a blink, Chong Meng moved, and just like that, both of them were dead, heads ripped clean off like trash. He muttered under his breath, "That was too easy." Elie's voice echoed with a teasing tone. Starting off by ripping off their heads, a bit dramatic, don't you think? Chong Mo replied coldly, "You're right. I didn't do it well enough. I should have taken my time." Elie chuckled, "Good. That kind of extremity is exactly what's needed to will my power, but don't get comfortable just yet. The real show has only just begun." As she spoke, glowing blue emotional currents began to weave beneath Chong Mo's feet, sprawling outward like a ritual circle. He looked up and there was a throne seated atop it, an emotion monster radiating dominance. Its form exuded a pressure that distorted reality. This wasn't just power, it was sovereignty. Chong Mo stared at the massive being before him, his voice low and wary. "What is that?" Elie responded coolly. "Ever wonder why this ship hasn't taken a scratch during your entire battle with Lu Jia? It's because this ship is an emotion entity. What you're seeing now, that's its true form. In a world of emotional energy, how much you can perceive depends entirely on your power. Right now, you're only seeing this because you're using my strength to barely pierce the veil. This is the real power behind the Sea Emperor. That throne-bound beast is the captain's personal emotion monster." At that moment, the captain stepped forward, radiating arrogance. "So you're the so-called world-tier brat who refuses to die. Let's change that." Then in eerie unison with the emotion monster, he began to chant across the cosmos between heaven and earth, "All transgressions shall be punished. Let all things bow, let all obey." Any act of defiance shall be paid in blood. Chong Mo's eyes widened. He's using incantation to amplify his command power. The moment the incantation ended, the captain gave his command, by my decree, condense the space around the intruder. Instantly, a massive sphere of golden energy slammed shut around Chong Mo and his emotion monster, sealing them inside like a divine prison. But it wasn't over. The captain continued chanting, by the golden blade, let judgment be cast. By my decree, within this field, all emotional energy shall be halved. A swarm of golden energy blades rained down, stabbing toward Chong Mo and his rationality-based emotion monster like a divine execution. With a sneer, the captain finally spoke, pathetic. The elites in the VIP lounge nodded in agreement. That was fast. This world tier's still green. Strange monster though, never seen that type of emotion before. Must be one of those obscure alignments. But with his power halved, even another world tier couldn't recover from this. It's only a matter of time now before the captain orders his capture. But just as those words left their mouths, a sharp crack echoed through the air. The golden prison around Chong Mo began a fracture. The room fell silent, eyes widened in disbelief. Even the ship's captain, stoic and arrogant, visibly flinched, his pupils narrowing in shock. In the very next second, Chong Mo's emotion monster tore through the golden prison like it was paper. With a sharp swing of his hand, a torrent of emotional energy erupted from his rational form, crashing down like a waterfall. In an instant, the Sea Emperor vessel was swallowed whole by the blast. The captain stood frozen, eyes wide, completely stunned. Now, only Chong Mo's emotion monster hovered above the waves, riding the violent aftershock. As the energy began to fade, the captain looked down and his jaw clenched. Half of his prized golden energy construct had vanished. He glared at the power rising off Chong Mo like a storm, fear finally creeping into his eyes. What the hell is this monster? He broke free under sealed command. Did he come here for me or for the organization backing me? The thought barely lasted a moment before fury replaced fear. Doesn't matter why he came. Anyone who dares challenge my authority dies. The captain roared, guards. In an instant, the emotion monster behind him split into countless soldier forms, charging at Chong Mo like a swarm of ants. They surrounded his rational form from all directions. But no matter how many came, Chong Mo's emotion monster cut them down one by one, each slash an instant kill. The captain, panicking, shouted again, stop him. Suddenly, Chong Mo's body froze mid-air. Just like the butler's earlier command, he was completely paralyzed. Before he could break free, dozens of spears pierced through his body with brutal force, but that kind of attack barely scratched him. With a furious roar, Chong Mo unleashed a devastating strike. The soldier army burst apart like shattered glass, obliterated by a single blow. Meanwhile, Chong Mo's emotion monster had slaughtered the golden colossus, stepping forward, with a blood-soaked bronze blade closing in on the captain. The captain panicked, hurriedly chanting the command, stop. It was too late. The massive blade struck him hard, sending him crashing down from the sky in utter disgrace. As soon as he hit the ground, Chong Mo dashed in like lightning. Yet the captain, a world-class fighter, recovered in a flash, regaining his composure. With a cold glare, he summoned his emotion beast once more and launched it straight at Chong Mo. Unfazed, Chong Mo had his rational emotion monster intercepted head-on. His strategy was clear, have his monster stall the captains, while he focused on taking down the captain himself. 2.5 minutes later, their monsters were locked in a fierce battle, but Chong Mo was clearly on the losing end. At the same time, Chong Mo himself was running out of steam, his breath starting to falter. The experienced captain instantly caught onto Chong Mo's weakness. A wicked grin curled on his lips. He's losing steam. This is my win. There are many places to run on the open sea. If I can capture him alive and uncover the truth about his emotion monster, that'd be a major win for the entire organization. Just then, Elie's voice rang beside Chong Mo. Bad news. My power's almost drained. What? Chong Mo panicked. What do we do now? What else? We run. Before he could protest, the chain link to his rational emotion monster yanked him back. He turned around and bolted. At this point, there was only one option left: jump into the sea. The captain yelled in disbelief. Is this guy insane? He's heading that way. As plunged deeper into the ocean, the true face of the world started to surface. The so-called oil-polluted deep sea wasn't pollution at all. It was the lair of a colossal sea monster. As Chong Mo turned his head toward the city, his heart clenched. What once was a familiar city had already become a nest of monsters. Humanity had been living side by side with monsters all along without even knowing it. It was only now that Chong and Mo truly understood. He used to think everyone else was just sick, but he was wrong, not just the people. The oceans, the land, the skies, even the cities, they were all diseased. The captain noticed something strange. What the hell? His eyes, they're bleeding. Wait, I get it now, he muttered. The truth is too much for him. That power, it's borrowed. His own rank isn't high enough to handle it. Kid, you're dead. Just then, Elie embraced Chong Mo and whispered, close your eyes. You may be seeing glimpses of the truth through my authority, but your current self can't bear it. So now, let me take over your body. As her voice fell, their bodies began to merge. And once again, Chong Mo transformed into a towering emotional beast. The captain stood frozen, stunned by what he was seeing. Chong Mo now commanded an enormous creature charging straight at him. The Black Sea, he can control the Black Sea? That's impossible. The captain stammered in disbelief. But before he could react, boom, a monstrous form born from the Black Sea crashed down, slamming into the captain's emotional creature with earth-shattering force. In the blink of an eye, Chong Mo had safely drifted ashore. Are you okay? Elie asked softly. Yeah. He replied, nodding. Just then, a strange phenomenon occurred. A pair of glasses materialized out of thin air and settled onto his face. Chong Mo was stunned. What the hell? Why did these suddenly appear? Elie explained calmly. It's your subconscious at work. The glasses represent your rationality. Once your emotions settle, that rational part of you takes control again. That's when the glasses return. Taking a deep breath, Chong Mo asked, Hi, Donghai City and that thing in the sky, what the hell is happening to this world? The world has already changed beyond recognition, Elie said with a somber look. You were just too low-level to realize it. The news claimed Donghai was polluted by oil. In reality, the contamination came from emotional entities. Years ago, a catastrophic battle broke out. A world-level depression entity went berserk. Her body turned into thick black liquid, swallowing fleets of aircraft carriers and warships. That face you saw was her true form. As for Donghai City, these days entire regions are ruled by emotional monsters. It's not unusual. That ship you were on and even your own emotional creature, it's all the same. As for that thing in the sky, if I'm right, that's... But strangely, Chong Mo didn't catch the rest. What are you saying? Elie looked puzzled. You can't hear it? That proves it. Whatever that thing is, your current soul just isn't built to comprehend it. If you try to force it, your mind will break. Chong Mo muttered to himself, so this is the truth behind emotional illness? That so-called sickness is just the tip of the iceberg. Elie's voice grew soft. I saved you, yes, but I also showed you the truth of this world. For a tiny ant like you, dying in ignorance might have been kinder because from now on, peace is no longer an option. Battle and chaos will follow you everywhere. She hesitated, then asked quietly, I'm the one who pulled you into this storm. Do you resent me for it? Chong Mo gave a faint smile. No. Actually, I'm grateful. I know you've got your own agenda, but I've never felt this alive before. It's like I've been reborn. So tell me, who are you really, and what exactly do you want from me? I'm just a wandering soul, she said softly. For years, I've drifted through this city. No one could see me. No one ever spoke to me. As my rationality faded, so did my strength and my memories. I can't even remember who I really was. Only my name remained. I was like a dying flame without fuel, destined to vanish until I met you. That day, you bumped into me on the street and said, Excuse me, I'm gonna be late. You're the only one who's ever spoken to me. The only one who could touch me. The only one capable of carrying my rational essence. If I was the dying flame, then you were the furnace that kept me burning. With you, I could hold on to myself. I could exist. That's why I got close to you. Why I pretended to be your colleague. Why I helped you investigate your mother's death. Why I fought with everything I had to protect you on the Sea Emperor. I will help you get everything you desire. Wealth, power, status, whatever you want, I'll make it happen. But in return, you must become stronger, strong enough to face the truth in the sky, strong enough to uncover what lies beyond because the most important part of me is up there. Let's start over. My name is Elie, and today marks my rebirth to Chong Mo. This is our rebirth. The scene shifts. Two figures stand on a sleek kayak, gazing out over the remains of the Sea Emperor drifting on the distant ocean. The woman asked, "Did you figure out who that guy was?" The man nodded, surprisingly easy. Name, Chong Mo, 18 years old. Works in the art department at Tianji Group in Donghai City. His mother died when he was 10, likely killed by Lu Jia. According to his company's annual medical records, he was just an ordinary person this March. The woman revealed to be the second miss of the Song family narrowed her eyes. Impossible. If he fought the Sea Emperor, he's at least world-class. No one gets that strong in just a few months. His power was probably borrowed. During the fight with the captain, his eyes started bleeding probably after glimpsing that thing in the sky. If the power was truly his, he wouldn't have reacted like that. Interesting. To borrow power that can even control the Black Sea, who's backing him? Didn't the captain ask us to look into this guy too? In that case, let's stall the report. Tomago, I'm not world-class yet, and staying up late is terrible for my skin. Miss Song, what about the boy? Don't worry. With the Song family's reach across the Federation, he won't get far. And whoever lent him that power won't escape either. This power will be ours, Farm Master. The next morning, Elie asked calmly, "So what's your plan now?" Chong Mo's expression turned cold. Lu Xia may be dead, but the man he mentioned, the one who ordered my mother's death, is still out there. I have to find him. Elie didn't sugarcoat her response. That man is a dangerous one. A power hidden deep in the shadows. You're not ready to face someone like that, not yet. What we need most right now is shelter. If I'm right, the forces behind the Sea Emperor are already hunting us, and I've burned through nearly all my power. If another world-class shows up, we're done. And it's not just the grudge you've made. Your emotional power, what you showed back there, it's rare. Dangerous. Enough to drive entire factions insane. Just then, Chong Mo suddenly shouted, startling Elie. "What is it? Crap, I was supposed to go to work today. I totally forgot." He slapped his forehead, and my entire project team's dead. Guess there's no project left anyway. Still, it would have been nice to keep getting paid without working, but now I miss my shift. I'm basically AWOL. Probably getting fired, there goes my salary. How am I supposed to survive now? Elie was left speechless by Chong Mo's sudden panic over getting fired. It was only now that he truly felt it. His old life was gone. There was no going back. "Come on," Elie said, "we're almost there. The place I mentioned, it's just ahead." Soon, the two arrived at their so-called sanctuary. But as Chong Mo stepped inside and saw the drooling vacant-eyed people wandering around, "This is your idea of a safe haven?" he asked, dumbfounded. "Exactly," Elie replied calmly. They had arrived at Donghai City's second psychiatric hospital. "Don't underestimate this place," she explained. "It might be remote, but this is an official government facility specifically for treating emotional disorders. And remember, Donghai is under Daxia's jurisdiction. The Daxia government is the strongest force here. People like you who can control emotional monsters might get recruited by the government itself. Besides, there's something special about this place. Too bad you can't see it yet." Chong raised an eyebrow. "Something special? Remember the giant emotional monsters you saw when you borrow my power? One of them is stationed here. It guards this place." After that, Chong Mo went to the front desk, paid the fee, and had his blood drawn. The nurse handed him a clipboard and said, "Please wait a moment. Your results will be out shortly." As Chong Mo waited in the hospital lobby, his eyes scanned the surroundings. No wonder this place specializes in treating emotional disorders. None of the nurses have emotion sacs on their heads, even most of the patients don't. That's rare. Then his gaze shifted to the man sitting next to him, except this guy, but the sack on his head looks different from the ones I've seen before. Sensing his confusion, Elie leaned in and said calmly, "You've gone through a real transformation. The more you understand yourself, the stronger you become and the more emotional forms you'll be able to perceive. You used to only see anger sacs. Now you're beginning to perceive other types too." She pointed at the man beside them. "That one's in the joy virus. It causes the infected to smile uncontrollably. No matter what happens, they just feel happy." Chong Mo nodded slowly, piecing things together. Things were finally starting to make a bit more sense. Just then, a girl's voice came from behind Chong and Mo. "Hi. Are you here for checkup too?" Chong Mo nodded. "Yeah." "Why?" The girl waved her hand. "No reason. You just seem pretty normal." Chong Mo chuckled. "Aren't you pretty normal yourself?" She rolled her eyes. "Of course I am. My parents were the ones who forced me to come. With all these emotional illness outbreaks lately, they freaked out and made me come for a checkup. They even threatened to throw away my entire collection if I didn't. I looked up this Donghai City Second Psychiatric Hospital online. Everyone calls at hospital number 2. It's specifically for really serious mental patients. I heard it's divided into Area A and Area B. The ones in Area A already totally unstable, and Area B way scarier. Total maniacs in there. People so dangerous they have to be chained up. Kanamo looked confused. What's the difference between Area A and Area B? Elie explained, if I'm right, Area A is for those who are infected but haven't fully transformed yet. Area B is for those who have transformed actual emotional entities. Chong Mo asked the girl, then why'd you even come here in the first place? She replied confidently, because if the second hospital turns me away, my parents will stop nagging. The first hospital might still take me, but the second, they deal with potential killers. There's no way they'd admit someone as normal as me. Soon, the test results were out. A nurse shouted while checking the names. Zhang Quan, Li Gooden, your results are ready. You're advised to transfer to Donghai City First Psychiatric Hospital. Wang Bin, your prescription is ready. Don't forget to take your meds on time. The girl kept chatting with Chong Mo. See, even those other patients who seem totally fine, this hospital won't admit them. We're way too normal. They'll probably just send us home. Just then, the nurse called out, Chong Mo, Zhang Jiechi, come with me to complete your admission paperwork. Hearing their names, both Chong Mo and the girl froze. Zhang Jiechi yelled, wait, what? Why are we being admitted? On the way to the front desk, the young nurse Zhou Yong smiled and said, it's been ages since we had patients voluntarily come to the second hospital. You two are sharp. Choosing this place was a brilliant decision. The environment here is even better than a 5-star hotel. Super comfy. All meals are prepared by gourmet chefs. You might not want to leave once you settle in. So don't worry, just relax and enjoy your recovery. Zhang Jiechi still couldn't believe it. No way. This is the second psychiatric hospital. I'm actually being admitted. Am I really that abnormal? The nurse tried to comfort her. Honestly, these days, who doesn't have a little mental strain? Early intervention just keeps things from getting worse. Chong Mo whispered to Elie, is Zhang Jiechi a host to an emotion entity too? I didn't see her emotional creature. Could it be hiding inside her mental realm? That's right. Your current ability isn't strong enough to perceive creatures that reside deep in the heart realm. Then how did the hospital detect where emotion hosts just from a blood test? If I remember correctly, it's because emotional entities make your blood unmeasurable by normal instruments. Technically, your blood becomes unreadable. As for how exactly that works, I've never seen their machines in action, so I can't say for sure. As the group moved deeper into the facility, armed guards began appearing on the upper levels. The atmosphere grew noticeably tense. Suddenly, Jin Jichi froze and shouted, wait a second. This is Area B, right? Isn't this where they lock up all the psychotic killers? She grabbed the nurse's arm in panic, her voice trembling. I swear, I've never had thoughts of killing anyone. Why are they putting me in Area B? The nurse chuckled and reassured her, relax. Those horror videos online exaggerate everything. If it'll make it sound scary, how would they go viral? Just follow the treatment plan. Everything will be fine. Really? Jin Jichi asked nervously. The nurse smiled and nodded, of course. But as her eyes scanned the room, her expression suddenly changed. Wait a minute, you all. Why are all of you carrying guns? At that moment, the guards on the upper floor silently took position, aiming sniper rifles toward them. Zhang Mo's heart tensed. Did they all see it too? Is that Zhang Jiechi's emotional parasite? He couldn't help but ask Elie, what happens to the patients who aren't accepted by the official system? Elie gave a faint smile. They're usually locked up. If it shows signs of being dangerous, they might be dealt with on the spot. So whatever you do, don't make any sudden moves. Just when everyone thought Zhang Jiechi was about to lose control, Chong Mo gently patted her on the shoulder. Zhang Jiechi, take it easy. Relax. If you stay this tense, they might really mistake you for a threat and shoot you. Comforted by his words, Zhang Jiechi gradually calmed down. At the same time, the emotional parasite surrounding her began to fade away. She glanced back at Chong Mo and murmured, yeah, you're probably right. Then she turned to the nurse and said, sorry, I overreacted just now. The nurse finally let out a quiet sigh of relief. Her parasite has retreated into her mindscape. She was right at the edge of losing control and somehow pulled herself back. Elie looked at Chong Mo with a trace of surprise. I didn't expect that. She's a total stranger, yet you still cared enough to stabilize her with your rational power. Chong Mo replied calmly, I just wanted to look a bit compassionate. If I stood there coldly while she was about to get shot, wouldn't that make me seem heartless? No way the authorities would recruit an emotionless parasite like that. But in the very next moment, just as everyone let their guard down, the nurse suddenly spoke in her radio. Fire! Bang! A single shot echoed. Zhang Jiechi collapsed instantly. Chong's expression didn't even flicker. It was as if none of it had anything to do with him. Elie leaned closer and whispered, Hey, show some reaction. You're looking a bit too dead inside. Chong and Mo frowned slightly, zoned out again. Another one down. How many is that now? It's starting to feel normal, but he quickly noticed something was off. There was no blood on the ground. It seemed Zhang Jiechi wasn't dead after all. That was a tranquilizer round. He sighed in relief. Tranquilizer. Elie chuckled. Nice acting. Just a little slow. Sorry. Chongyama replied flatly. I'll do better next time. On the other side, the nurse instructed 2 staff members, take her away. Unidentified emotional entity, unstable state. Treat as high-risk containment. Thanks for the help. Mo frowned. High risk? What does that mean for her? The nurse smiled sweetly. Just means we need to watch her a bit more closely. You weren't scared just now, were you? You seemed awfully calm. How about I run a quick assessment for you two? Just a few questions. Assessment. Chong Mo raised an eyebrow. Sure, go ahead. Did you come here on your own for the checkup? That's pretty rare, the nurse asked. Can you tell me what made you decide to visit a psychiatric facility? Well, Chong Mo replied earnestly. At first, I started seeing things no one else could, these sacks on people's heads and monsters. Then I began to feel some kind of power, something invisible to others. He raised his hand and pointed to his palm. I think it might be a hallucination, so I came to get it checked. This thing in my hand, can you see it? The nurse froze in place, eyes wide as she stared at Chong Mo's palm. Well, that's unexpected. I need to report this right away. Without hesitation, she quietly stepped back and spoke in her radio again. Open fire. Bang. A single shot rang out. Chong Mo dropped to the ground. The nurse finally let out a long breath. What's going on today? 2 unknown types of emotional entities in one day. Scared me to death. Nice shot. Oldly right on target. Someone nearby chuckled. Good work, everyone. But hey, why we shoot the last guy too? He looked pretty normal. The nurse shook her head. Those are the scariest ones. I reviewed the hospital surveillance footage earlier. He hid it well, but his subtle body language gave him away. What kind of body language? He was talking to someone invisible. That's classic dissociative identity disorder. The personality he shows now seems mild, but the other one might be extremely dangerous, and his emotional powers, they're unlike anything we've seen. What's worse, when he used those powers, no emotional entity appeared. That means he's already learned to control it. A dissociative patient with full command of an unknown emotional force, way more dangerous than that girl. We had to take him down immediately. The nurse let out a breath. All right, call someone to take him away. But before she could finish, Chong Mo suddenly sprang up from the ground. The nurse gasped in shock. What? How are you still conscious? The intercom blared. Target is active again. Target is active. Level 1 alert. In an instant, countless armed guards swarmed the area surrounding them. Elie sighed. I was just about to tell you not to get up so soon. Chong Mo's eyes narrowed as he made a firm decision. Well then, he raised both hands and shouted, Don't shoot. I surrender. His calm and straightforward surrender stunned the heavily armed guards on edge. The nurse finally relaxed. Phew, that should settle it for now. Soon, Chong Mo's hands were tightly bound by a special chain. The nurse explained cheerfully, Yes, you've awakened some unique powers, but this chain suppresses all emotional abilities. You're no different from an ordinary person now, though I admit it's a bit unfair to you. Chong and Mo glanced down at the chain, frowning in thought. So this is the chain that can suppress all emotional powers, but oddly enough, he could feel a strange energy surging from the chain and pouring into his body. Yelling noticed and raised her brows. Wait, are you absorbing the chain's energy? That metal was once infected by the emotion of rationality, she said. That's why the chain can suppress other emotion-based powers. But for someone like you, someone tied to emotional entities, this isn't a shackle. It's a full-course energy boost. Meanwhile, at the Donghai City Bureau of Emotional Management, Director Chu Wei-ming was on the phone reporting, "Miss Song, I found the person you asked about. He's been admitted to the second mental hospital as a patient. Since he's in the second hospital, he's under your jurisdiction now. Don't worry, Miss Song. I'll personally see to it that we bring him out." A sly smile crept into her voice. "Well done. Chong Mo, not bad looking either. Before we extract that power of yours, we'll have plenty of time to enjoy ourselves. I can't wait to see that delicate face of yours twist in agony and despair." Zhang Jiechi was diagnosed with a strange illness. She could see handsome men showering from miles away. If she went too long without seeing one, eyeballs would start growing from her head. Nurse Xiaolin grew anxious. "Sister Zhou, she's losing control. We need to medicate her now." The head nurse, Zhou, held her back. "Hold on. Let's see if she can suppress it with willpower." Zhang Jiechi screamed, "I can't control it. Is it so wrong to really want to look at hot guys?" Zhou's face hardened. "No choice. Administer the injection." In a panic, Xiaolin fumbled and dropped the syringe to the floor with a loud clack. "What are you doing? You dropped it at the worst possible time." Just then, a hand reached out toward Zhang Jiechi. "Calm down. If you lose control and become a monster, you'll never see anything again." It was the doctor who had just arrived. The head nurse quickly warned, "Dr. Liu, we're being too reckless. Don't provoke her further." Just then, the emotional cysts on Zhang Jiechi's head began to tremble, and moments later, they disappeared completely. Dr. Liu praised her. "Good job, Jiechi. I knew you could do it. All right, here's the preliminary diagnosis. Patient name, Zhang Jiechi, exhibits obsessive fixation on handsome men. First symptom occurred 1 month ago after encountering a good-looking stranger. Upon returning home, she began to see him showering. Emotion-based ability suspected to be some form of clairvoyance. Tentatively classified as Type 7 unknown emotional entity. Threat level low." Upon hearing this, Chong Mo muttered, "So your parents sent you here because you could see hot guys showering?" Zhang Jiechi scratched her head and grinned sheepishly. A kind of embarrassing Dr. Liu then turned to Chong Mo. Patient name, Chong Mo, emotionally stable, claims to see and manipulate things invisible to others, initially suspected of schizophrenia. However, the patient insists he's just fond of talking to himself. Observed emotional ability includes crystallization through the hands and emission of blue flames. Tentatively classified as Type 7 unknown emotional entity. Threat level moderate. Dr. Liu smiled. "No need to worry. You're emotionally stable, and that's a good sign. Once we fully understand your abilities, you'll be discharged. But until then, the suppression chains stay on. Thank you for your cooperation." Dr. Liu walked over to the next patient. "And now you, Sai. You're always the most troublesome." Patient name, Chun Zhu, no abnormal behavior, no notable responses. Apart from irregular blood test results, everything about him seems totally normal. Well, almost. Normal people aren't this vacant. Tentatively classified as Type 6 unknown emotional entity. Threat level low. Still gives me a headache. Chong Mo glanced at the boy named Shinju, silently wondering, is he a cognitively impaired emotional entity, or wait, does stupidity count as emotion now? At that moment, Zhong Zeki suddenly burst out excitedly. "Yes. I'm not mentally ill. I'm a superpowered psychic, and my power is literally seeing hot guys shower. Is this heaven?" Dr. Liu quickly reminded her, "Don't get too cocky, Jiechi. Technically, all emotional entities are considered mentally ill. The only difference is whether they can control it or not. According to Article 4 of the Emotional Entity Confidential Management Law, the Dasha government has established the Emotional Entity Administration Bureau. Our hospital is one of its subordinate branches responsible for treatment and containment to ensure you don't endanger society." Hearing this, Chong Mo raised a question. "Wait, emotional entities are under national management." Dr. Liu responded sternly. "Of course, you're subject to regulation. If you're released and commit a crime violating Dasha's laws, the Donghai Emotional Entity Bureau will come for you. And trust me, they're not as gentle as we are. If you even survive, consider yourself lucky. I won't be able to protect you then." "Understood. All right then. If you're curious about the Emotional Entity Management Law, ask the nurse for a copy." Just then, a nurse shouted anxiously, "Dr. Liu, something's wrong. Please come quickly." "What happened?" "Don't panic. I'm on my way." Once the medical staff left, Chong Mo picked up the Emotional Entity Management Law and began reading through it. Article 7, Emotional Entity Confidential Management Law. The Emotional Entity Bureau has full authority over all emotional entities. It oversees dedicated treatment facilities, armed enforcement, and judicial branches. All emotional entities must abide by national laws. Violators will be arrested, tried, and sentenced accordingly. After reading it, Chong M. frowned, puzzled. If emotional entities truly can't break Dasha's laws, then how did Luja roam free all this time? Elie said, of course, everything appears fair and just on the surface. But behind the scenes, there are definitely all kinds of shady deals. The fact that Lucia got away with everything clearly points to the involvement of higher-ups in the Emotional Entity Bureau. As for how deep it goes, no one knows. Chong Mo followed up. Then how did you know Lucia was the one who killed my mom? Elie replied, I accessed the police archives. The cops actually suspected Lucia early on. But later, the case was transferred to a classified department and the investigation stopped altogether. That department? The Emotional Entity Bureau, of course. That's when Chong and Mo suddenly realized something. Wait a second. Luja's backing comes from the top of the bureau. And this hospital we're in, it's under that same bureau. Aren't we basically doomed? Elie paused then said, oh yeah. You're right. Then she smiled faintly. Well, I don't really remember all the details. Before merging with you, my memory had been fading. I just knew it was risky but worth the gamble. That's why I brought you here. Anyway, we're already here. The best thing to do now is absorb the power of this chain. For everything else, let's trust the me before the amnesia. Meanwhile, Dr. Liu was summoned to the office to meet with the director of the Emotional Entity Bureau. The director casually sipped a cup of coffee. Then, out of nowhere, he slammed the cup to the ground, shattering it. His fury was evident. Dr. Liu flinched and asked nervously, Director, what's wrong? The director threw a thick stack of documents onto the desk. What's wrong? You're really asking that? Take a good look at what you and your people have done. Outside the office, 2 nurses were eavesdropping against the door. Nurse Zhou muttered, Seriously? Does he have to throw a tantrum every time he comes? Nurse Zhouling asked quietly, Why doesn't a hospital director step in? Nurse Zhou replied, The director? He can't do anything. That guy outranks him. Our funding depends on the bureau. Eventually, the director stopped meeting with him altogether. Now Dr. Liu is stuck dealing with him. Honestly, the director shows a little respect to the hospital head, but he's downright nasty to Dr. Liu. She shakes like a leaf every time she sees him. Just then, the director suddenly stood up and said sternly, Last night, that man committed murder aboard the Sea Emperor cruise ship. And this morning, he managed to escape into your hospital, and you actually admitted him. Do you have any idea who's behind the Sea Emperor? Don't you know this man's a murderer? Don't you realize this has already escalated into an international incident? He fired off 3 furious questions in a row before exhaling sharply. Staring down at Dr. Liu, he threatened, Hand him over immediately or don't blame me for what happens next. But to his surprise, Dr. Liu suddenly stopped trembling, her demeanor unusually calm. The director scoffed inwardly, got her, probably scared stiff this time, can't even shake anymore. Just then, a droplet of blood splashed onto his shoulder. He reached up to wipe it off but found nothing there. Thinking it was just his imagination, he began to relax until more blood suddenly drenched him from above. And once again, it vanished into thin air, still reeling in confusion. He tried to make sense of it all, but the next moment, blood reappeared. This time in torrents, flooding the entire floor beneath him. At that moment, Director Zhao's face was pale with terror. This was supposed to be a regular office, but he felt as though he were drowning in a sea of corpses and blood. What kind of emotional power is this? Dr. Luchinga, he recalled only seeing her during a few work meetings. Quiet, polite, always smiling. She seemed so gentle, so cultured, someone easy to handle. That's exactly why he came looking for her. But was this really the same person? Just as he struggled to decide his next move, the tapping of a cane echoed through the room. The director of the second psychiatric hospital, Mingxiu, had arrived. Director Zhao, what a surprise. Why didn't you let me know you were coming? As she appeared, the grisly vision dissolved without a trace. Zhao stared in disbelief. The sea of blood was gone. Mingxiu calmly spoke. You're here about Shanghaiamu, aren't you? My team completed the background check. The man he killed, Lu Zhao, renounced his Daxia citizenship years ago. He's no longer protected by our law. And since the incident happened in international waters aboard the Sea Emperor, Chong Mo neither harmed any citizens nor damaged national assets. Therefore, he hasn't violated the Emotional Entity Confidential Management Act. Director Zhao stammered. Why? Yes. But there's a lot of pressure from the Sea Emperor's side. You know who's behind them? The higher-ups demanded I give them an answer today. The dean tapped her cane heavily on the floor. Her expression turned cold. You're talking about the Song family, aren't you? Spineless cowards. Since when do we let foreign-backed vessels dictate our internal affairs? She turned sharply to Zhao. And wasn't Lu Zhao prime suspect back then? How did he manage to renounce his citizenship so easily and still strut around Donghai for years? Are you blind? Do I need to report that to your superiors too? Moments later, Director Zhao drove away, tail tucked between his legs. Watching his car disappear, the dean snorted, Hoof, trying to throw weight around with me? Dream on. Dr. Lu clung to the dean's arm with a smile. Dean, you were amazing just now. Whack. The dean's cane landed squarely on her head. Control your emotions. Do you want to lose control again? Dr. Lu pouted. I've been holding it in for years. Can I breathe a little? Besides, I've been feeling more stable lately. The dean scolded. You're at your most dangerous stage right now. One moment of carelessness and you'll snap. Don't let a guard down. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Lu replied obediently. A moment later, Dr. Lu exclaimed in shock, so the world-class battle in the Sea Emperor really did happen? Even the polluted Donghai waters were stirred up because of it. Could the world-class being be Chong Mo? Maybe his target was a ship all along. The dean replied calmly, I don't know the exact details, but Chong Mo isn't world-class. According to records, he's lived in Donghai since childhood with annual health checks. The latest one shows he was still an ordinary human, so it couldn't have been him, which means, she continued, there must be a world-class entity behind him. Lu frowned. If that's the case, what's their goal? Did they clash with the Sea Emperor just to save him? And if he has someone like that backing him, why bother coming to our hospital? Her eyes suddenly glowed red. Don't tell me that world-class being's next target is us. Whack. The dean smacked her with her cane again. Stop overthinking. She turned her gaze to a plant in the corner. And this, I told you to take care of it. Look at it. You shoved it in a corner like I wouldn't notice. Lu protested. Can we please stay on topic? This is serious. The dean finally sighed and returned to the matter. Don't worry. If that world-class was within the hospital grounds, I'd have sensed it. But Chong Mo, Dr. Lu cut in coldly, I still say he's up to no good. We should have handed him over earlier. The dean gently held a potted plant and said, emotionals are like plants. Some can grow strong on their own, others need support or they won't be able to stand at all. That boy is truly pitiful. Lost both parents early, forced to work young. Just as his life was beginning to show promise, he got dragged into a conflict with emotionals. That Lu Zha, by the way, was the prime suspect in his mother's murder. You think that's just a coincidence? Of course not. Hidden organizations and cults are known to select ideal candidates, especially those like Chong Mo, who harbor the patriot. They lure them with promises of revenge and use that to buy their loyalty. Maybe Chong Mo came to the hospital on a mission, but as long as he's still a citizen of Daxia, we can't abandon him. If he's going astray, we need to pull him back. Meanwhile, at the Donghai City Emotionals Management Bureau, Director Zhao immediately began investigating Dr. Lu's background. But the moment the result appeared, his pupils shrank in shock. Access denied, insufficient permissions. Just then, a call came in from Miss Song, the second daughter of the Song family. Director Zhao answered respectfully. Miss Song, this matter still needs a bit more time to resolve. Please don't worry. I can handle it. Absolutely. I'll fully cooperate. Moments later, the call ended. Meanwhile, Song Hui was sipping tea with a middle-aged man. She said, Director Zhao Zai will leave it to your organization, Black Chain. The master said that since that old woman is so troublesome anyway, we might as well bring the plan forward, flatten the second psychiatric hospital directly. As for Chong Mo, just bring him back along the way. The man stubbed out his cigarette, then responded coldly, no problem. The next night, in Ward B of Donghai City Second Psychiatric Hospital, Chong Mo sat cross-legged on his hospital bed, quietly absorbing the rational energy flowing from the chain. Elie praised him. Not bad, not bad. Your rational emotion power has grown quite a bit. At this rate, you'll soon need the law. Chong Mo looked confused. What's the law? Elie replied, each emotional entity grows under different conditions. How to absorb power, how to control it, there's a whole system behind it. Without it, you'll lose control. That system tailored to each emotion type is called the law. You once borrowed my power and briefly reached world class, but that wasn't something you could truly control. If you want to master true power, you must follow the law's method. Digest it step by step and grow slowly. Your rational emotion power is accumulating too fast. Without the law for rational types, you'll lose control soon. End of episode 11. The law is a systematic method to harness emotional power. Once you've learned it, you can control your emotions and avoid losing yourself. And for rational types, the most basic law is to undergo intense, continuous experiences of other emotions. But Elie shook his head and said, you already burned through years of stored anger. Nothing major has happened recently and your emotions have stayed flat. So this method won't work for now. Just rest for today. Meanwhile, Nurse Jo tucked Jetcher in while doing her rounds. Just as she was about to leave, Chong Mo suddenly asked, hey, Nurse Jo, you're a regular human, right? Then how can you see emotional power too? She smiled softly and replied, something's happened, but it's all in the past now. You two hang in there. No matter how hard it gets, it won't last forever. Elie, hearing this, murmured, that kind of calm usually hides a painful story. In this world, just being able to see is already a form of power. That power either comes from rank, like when you borrowed mine and saw the truth of the world, or it come from a mix of experience and luck. You need both. You got your glimpse of the truth after your mother's incident. You got lucky in a twisted way. So if a regular person can see emotional power, it usually means something terrible happened to them. And if they see too much without the strength to bear it, that's a curse in itself. Chong Mo fell silent. At that moment, Nurse Jo turned back. All right, I read your file. I have something for you. She held out a necklace. A necklace? What's this for? She smiled. It's not just any necklace. As he looked at it curiously, the bead in the center began to glow. It's actually a little light. It's small, but I hope it helps brighten the darkness around you. Chong Mo gave a small smile. Thanks. Then Nurse Jo and Nurse Shaolin moved on to the next bed. Elie teased, feeling a spark? That nurse is pretty cute. Shangamu shrugged. What's the point? Elie was speechless. I was gonna say classic rational type, but honestly that mindset, you're the one most likely to snap. Suddenly, Zhang Jiechi jolted awake from her bed. Chong Mo looked over. You okay? Zhang Jiechi rubbed her temples. Yeah. Just a nightmare. Just then, another scream rang out. Nurse Shaoling rushed over. What now? Why are all of you sleeping so restlessly? Before she could finish, the bed next to them exploded. Suddenly, a hand shoved her out of the blast. Chong Mo stood frozen, shocked by what he just witnessed. Zhang Jiechi stared in horror, mouth wide open. Nurse Shaolin tumbled back, hitting the ground alongside a severed hand. Shangamu couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was like the entire room had been erased from existence. Xiaoling stared blankly at the hand, then tears poured down her face. Sister Zhou, it was Zhou, the nurse, who had pushed her out in that final moment, and Zhou had been wiped out in an instant. Just then, someone crawled out from the crater in the floor. It was the patient with the joy-type emotion disorder. In the next second, his joy emotion entity emerged. Elie shouted, careful. His joy forms lost control. Joy-type entities can dissolve anything. The earlier blast was his doing. Another explosion suddenly went off to the side, then the rooftop erupted in flames. Once things briefly settled down, Chong Mo looked toward the blast zone. Inside the ward, emotion entities were going wild everywhere. Nurse Xiaoing panicked. They've all lost control. All the patients. I need to call the security squad. No sooner had she spoken than a burst of gunfire, 2222, rang out from outside. Chong Mo said calmly, the security squad probably won't make it in time. That gunfire and these abnormal outbreaks, it's an attack. The second hospital is under siege. Nurse Shaolin collapsed to the ground. We're under attack. How is this happening? Where's the director? What about her? Elie chuckled. Too bad you can't see her. Your director is a bit preoccupied right now. High above the hospital, a blood-red monster was locked in combat with a shadow-black creature. Two world-class emotion entities were clashing in the sky above the facility. On the hospital rooftop, the director stood facing a mysterious man, bloodthorn, hatred-type emotion entity. "Are you with the Black Chain?" The hooded man spoke coldly. "I'm the new bishop of the Black Chain, Eastern Sea Branch. Today, I've come to take your life and burn the second hospital to the ground." Crimson emotional energy surged behind the director. She sneered bold words. "You locked your emotion entity in the mind realm and chose to fight with your physical body. That's the dumbest mistake you've ever made." The moment she finished, her body twisted, morphing into a monster. Meanwhile, back in a ward, Chong Mo asked, "Wait, the director is fighting a world-class enemy right now. Then the entire second hospital could be leveled. We'll be caught in the blast." Elie replied, "Relax. Seems like both sides agreed to fight in the mind realm. The real-world damage should be minimal. But I've got to warn you, I'm completely powerless now. From here on, you're on your own. If you die, we all die." Nurse Xiaoling was still panicking. Where is the director? Why isn't she saving us? Why is this happening? Zhang Jiechi cried out, "Nurse, please. You have to pull yourself together. You need to calm him down." But Nurse Xiaoling looked utterly hopeless. Calm him down? That's impossible, absolutely impossible. They're completely out of control. Their emotional power will tear us to pieces. We're going to die. Chong Mo let out a sigh. Then he yanked the chain off his wrist with one pull. He placed his hand firmly on the head of the joy-infected patient. Just like that, the man was subdued. Zhang Jiechi froze in shock. Nurse Xiaoling was equally stunned. After a brief silence, Chong Mo spoke. "Don't just stand there. Let's go." Xiaolin stammered, "Why you? What did you just do?" Zhang Jiechi waved excitedly. "Chong Mo, that was awesome." He replied calmly, "Nothing much. Just help him calm down." Xiaolin gasped. "Your emotional power can stabilize a rampaging entity? That's incredible." Earlier, Elie had warned him, joy-type entities can dissolve anything. They're the biggest threat to you. If his ability hits you, you'll be obliterated. Take him out first. Chong Mo had asked, "Dissolve anything? That's broken. How is that not invincible?" Elie replied, "Because emotional power isn't matter. If you counter with your own emotional force, you can block his attacks." Just then, a fireball came flying straight at Chong Mo. A second later, boom, it exploded right on impact. Nurse Xiaoling and Zhang Jiechi stared in horror, thinking he was dead. Tears welled up in their eyes. For the next moment, Chong Mo burst out of the smoke. The first rage-infected patient was calmed instantly. Then came the second one, and finally the third. But by then, the enemy had already launched another attack. A barrage of fireballs, over a dozen, rained down on Chong Mo as the fiery orbs came screaming toward him. He chose to take them head-on. Then, without hesitation, he pressed his hand on the final patient's head. With that, all three rage-infected patients were neutralized by Chong Mo alone. Chong Mo turned to Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Xiaoling. "Are you two okay?" Both of them stared at him in awe. Amazing. Not only can he stop emotion entities from going berserk, but his defense is insane too. What kind of entity is this? Suddenly, a splash of black ink dropped right next to Zhang Jiechi. They looked up. There was another berserk patient hiding above them. Black liquid was oozing steadily from his head. Nurse Xiaolin cried out, "Watch out. That's a sadness-type emotion creature. Can drag everything into despair, but usually they don't move. As long as we don't provoke it, we'll be fine." Elie chimed in, "Your resistance to sadness is low. Don't touch that black fluid. This one's infected by the black Donghai, but it's still weak. No need to fight. Just get out." Chong and Mo nodded and called out, "Come on. Let's go now." Zhang Jiechi suddenly exclaimed, "Wait, Jinju." They all turned to look at the collapsed bed. He was probably already dead. Nurse Xiaoling's voice trembled. "How did this happen? He was fine just moments ago." "First Sister Zhou, now Chinju too." Zhang Jiechi gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Hold it together. Right now, surviving is all that matters. And with Chong Mo here, we'll make it." Suddenly, someone grabbed on a Chong Mo's leg. "Damn right. With his brother around, we'll definitely survive." Zhang Jiechi yelled, "Where did you come from?" Shinju blinked blankly. "I fell off the bed while I was napping, then heard an explosion. So I just hid in the corner the whole time. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get the hell out of here." A few minutes later, Chong Mo led Nurse Xiaoling, Zhang Jiechi, and Shinju out of the ward safely. He asked, "Do you have Dr. Lu's number?" Xiaoling took out her phone only to find no signal at all. Chong Mo frowned, probably a signal jammer, and we don't hear any more gunfire. The security squad might have been wiped out. A few moments later, Zhang Jieqi and Nurse Xiaoling were panting heavily, completely out of breath. It was then Chong Mo noticed his stamina felt off the charts. Elie explained, different emotion types affect the body differently. Rational power boosts overall control. So yeah, your endurance is enhanced. Chong Mo glanced at Chinju. He didn't look tired either. Were you always this fit, or is that emotion power too? Zhang Jieqi spoke up. If there was still gunfire, someone at the outpatient wing might have heard it. Maybe they called the cops. Should we just hide somewhere for now? Nurse Xiaoling shook her head. Actually, at night, the entire hospital building is empty. Only our B block has people. Everyone trusts the night shift because the director is here. We have to find her, but Chong Mo shook his head. Looking for the director won't help. She hasn't shown up. She's definitely been tied down by the enemy. This hospital is isolated, basically a sitting duck. The enemy came prepared. Our only option now is to escape. Xinju was shocked. Wait, the entire B block only has the director as a fighter? That's way too risky. Nurse Shaolin quickly corrected him. No, it's not just her. Dr. Lu and our head nurse are powerful emotion types too. It's just the doctor's not here today. Right, the head nurse. We still have her. She can protect us. Hearing that, an image of the head nurse surfaced in Chong Mo's mind. The head nurse, that woman who barely ever shows up, she's strong too, like the doctor? Suddenly, a rage-infected patient lunged out from the side. But in the very next moment, Chong Mo calmed him with ease. Just then, Nurse Xiaoling spotted something. Her eyes widened. My, she sprinted toward the figure, but when she reached her, the nurse was already lifeless. At that moment, a thought struck Chong Mo. Wait, how did the enemy make so many patients go berserk at the same time? Nurse Xiaoling shook her head baffled. I don't know either. Everyone took their meds on schedule. Those meds, like the chains we use to restrain you, are designed to suppress emotional power. There's no way they all lost control out of nowhere. Chong Mao raised a possibility. What if the meds were tampered with? Since everyone takes them at the same time, the outburst would happen simultaneously. Xiao frowned, but the meds go through strict checks, and to make different emotion types go berserk, you need a specific drug for each one. Zhang Jieqi tilted her head. What do you mean, specific drug for each one? Xiaoling explained, you need to give anger-enhancing meds to rage types, joy boosters to joy types. Only by doing that could you overload them and trigger a loss of control, and all the meds were sorted by name ahead of time by the head nurse. The ward nurses just handed them out. There's no way an outsider could interfere. As she said that, Xiaoling suddenly froze, her pupils contracting. No way. Don't tell me. It was the head nurse. Chong Mo muttered, it all makes sense now. The head nurse is the traitor. She coordinated from the inside, handing out tampered meds that triggered the outbreak, and that explains why the three of us didn't go berserk. Our emotion types aren't registered. She couldn't dose us properly. Let's move, and from here on, watch out for the head nurse. Moments later, they finally reached the hospital's main entrance. But just as they were about to step out, they froze. A figure was floating in midair. It was the head nurse. Zhang Jieqi tensed up. Is her the head nurse? She can fly. Is she coming after us? Nurse Xiaoang shouted, why head nurse? Why would you do this? Why betray the second hospital? Mama, they're all dead. Don't you even care? But the head nurse remained hovering silently above them, saying nothing. Suddenly, Zhang Jieqi spoke up. Wait, something's off. She's not floating. There's something on her. That's when Chong Mo finally said, so you guys really can't see it. She's not floating. She's been impaled by blood-red thorns and hung up there. She's already dead. Nurse Shaolin collapsed to the ground. No way. Chong Mo thought grimly. Silence, they took her out. Then he noticed more figures off to the side. But when he got a full view, his expression nearly broke. Floating in the air outside the hospital were rows of motionless security guards frozen in strange twisted poses. Only Chong Mo could see the truth. Each of them had been pierced by blood-red thorns and strung up in the sky. Suddenly, a cloak man appeared sneering, Chong Mo, there you are. In the next instant, countless blood-red thorns shot toward him. The image of the head nurse's impaled body flashed through Chong Mo's mind. Without hesitation, he swept his hand, unleashing a surge of blue flames. The flames roared to life, devouring everything in their path. The cloak man scoffed, unimpressed. TCH, so he's just like the rest. Nothing special. Panics when attacked, flails his powers around, and I was told to personally bring him back, but as the flames died down, he froze. Chong Mo was gone. Ah, so that was a smoke screen. Using the fire to cover his escape. Quick reflexes, I'll give him that, but you won't get far. At that moment, Chong Mo had led Zhang Jieqi and the others into a hidden room. Nurse Xiaoling asked confused, Zhang Jieqi, what happened? Why do you suddenly drag us back here? Zhang Jieqi narrowed her eyes. I think I saw red spikes sticking out at you. Xiaoling blinked. Red spikes? I didn't see anything like that. Elie chimed in, nice catch, Jiachi. You could actually see the spikes. Must be some kind of emotion-based perception. Xiaoling's hopeless. She saw nothing. Then her gaze shifted to Qinzhu, and now he's a real mystery. Even I can't figure out what's going on with him. Chong Mo silently pulled the spikes from his body, thinking one thing at a time. Focus on the immediate danger. He had no idea where the spikes had come from. And the moment he pulled each one out, it vanished into thin air. What's worse, at some point, the entire B block had become surrounded by blood-red thorns. Then Chong Mo deliberately extended his hand out the window. He made sure it was exposed within sight of the blood-red thorns. Nurse Xiaolin tilted her head. What's he doing now? Just as Chong Mo started to think he'd misjudged the situation, in the next moment, blood-colored thorns began growing from his hand. He quickly yanked it back. This is, I thought, if they see you, wait a bit and thorns start growing on you. And this time, it's worse than before. As he pulled the spikes out one by one, he muttered, what the hell are these things? Elie suddenly remembered something. I think it's from a hatred-type emotion entity, but the details? No clue. Don't give me that look. I told you I've got amnesia. What? You don't believe me? Whatever. This isn't the time to argue. Zhang Jieqi whispered nervously, why isn't Chong Mo saying anything? Nurse Xiaoling replied, I saw in his file possible dissociative symptoms. You don't think he's having an episode right now, do you? That's when Chong Mo finally spoke. Let me explain. The entire B block has been surrounded by giant blood-red thorns. That's the power of a hatred-type emotion entity. Once those thorns see you, give it 5 or 6 seconds and your body will start growing spikes until you die. That's how the guards and the head nurse were killed. I was hit by it too, so stay out of their sight no matter what. Xiaolin suddenly froze. Wait, I remember now. They're the Black Chain cult. We have internal files in the hospital that describe emotion-based organizations, and the Black Chain is one of the major cults. Over 10 years ago, they tried to destroy Donghai City. They even caused a powerful sadness-type entity to go berserk and dye the entire city black. After their plan failed, they went into hiding. All of them are hatred-type entities, and their emotional power takes the form of blood-red thorns. So the infamous Black and Donghai was their doing all along. Elie clutched her head, frowning. Black Chain cult, hatred types, there's something important I can't remember. Ugh, memory loss sucks. Suddenly, blood-red spikes erupted from Chong Mo's body again. Spikes? How? He wasn't even in view of the thorns. And why is he the only one who's been targeted from start? That's when Elie spotted a faint red dot outside the window. She zoomed in, adjusting her visual focus, and she saw it clearly, a blood-red eyeball. I see it. That direction, burn it with fire. Hearing her, Chong Mo immediately unleashed a burst of flame in that direction. The fire swept across the area in an instant, swallowing the target, followed by a piercing scream. What the hell did I just hit? Chong Mo asked, startled. Elie explained that was a condensed emotion construct an eye. High stealth level, so you couldn't see it. My guess, the enemy was watching you through it, and that's what triggered the spikes. Before she even finished, more spikes erupted from Chong Mo, denser this time. There's another one over there. Quick, burn it. Chong Mo fired again in the direction she pointed. Nurse Xiaolin panicked. Chong Mo, what are you doing? Why are you setting everything on fire? Wait, are you losing control too? Zhang Jieqi quickly jumped in. No, it's not that. The spikes on Chong Mo's body keep multiplying. He's being attacked. Chong Mo kept casting flame after flame, burning down every eyeball, Elie pointed out. But all of it, every move was being watched by the cloaked man in the shadows. So you can see my eyes of hatred impressive, but too bad for you. I have plenty more. They follow like a shadow yet leave no trace. That is the power of hatred. Struggle, resist, run. In the end, it won't matter. Your fate is sealed. Surrender. Just then, a wave of dizziness slammed into Chong Mo. In the next moment, he collapsed onto the ground. His body was now completely covered in blood-red thorns. Zhang Jiechi screamed through tears. Who is it? Who's doing this to us? But then she saw them, hundreds, maybe thousands of crimson eyes staring back at her. Her face went pale. She let out a blood-curdling scream. Nurse Shaoling looked at her worried. Zhang Jiechi, are you okay? Don't tell me. You're having an episode too? What are you talking about? Red eyes? I didn't see anything. This has to be a hallucination. You're all imagining things. Elie sighed. So Zhang Jiechi can see them too, the eyes, but it doesn't matter now. It's all over. Meanwhile, Chan Yema was trying to process the sensation of the spikes. They were bizarre. They didn't interact with the floor or even his clothes, only his body. If it weren't for the real stabbing pain and his total paralysis, he'd think it was all a dream. He asked Elie quietly, I'm really done this time. You got anything left? Elie answered calmly, Nope, told you. I used everything back on the ocean. Chong Mo blinked. You don't even seem worried. If I die, doesn't that mean you're dead too? Correct. Elie said flatly, you die, I die, but worrying won't help. Don't worry. No matter how this ends, I'll stay with you. Chong Mo was silent for a moment. Then he turned to the others. Zhang Jiechi, Shaoling, Chinju, you guys need to leave. I think I was the target all along. The spikes aren't growing anymore, which means they don't want me dead, just immobilized. They're trying to capture me alive. As long as you don't interfere, you might still make it out. Zhang Jiechi spoke up. Yeah. From the start, only Chong Mo was growing those spikes. But just leaving him behind, before she could finish, Nurse Shaolin cut in, her voice distant, almost blank. Yeah. I should just run. But the very next second, she broke down completely. I can't. I'm scared. Please someone save us. Anyone. Zhang Jiechi gave her a helpless look. That's when Chinju stepped forward. Without a word, he bent down and lifted Chong Mo off the ground. Chinju, what are you doing? Zhang Jiechi asked in shock that he answered simply, taking him with us. Zhang Jiechi rushed to stop him. You can't. Those red eyes are still out there. If they see us, we'll get hit too. The only reason we're safe is because they're targeting Chong Mo. If we carry him, we'll be next and we'll never make it out. Jinju just smiled. Come on, be optimistic. How do we know it's impossible if we never try? Meanwhile, the cloak man was still watching. Ugh, these meddling pests, such a pain. Too bad the high priest ordered me not to kill any patients or nurses, to seal off be block and stir chaos. Once he kills the director, I grab Chong Mo and we're out. He paused for a moment, eyes narrowing. Then a twisted grin spread across his face. Screw it, I'll just kill these three. Should be fine. Right? You chose the wrong side anyway. But just then, boom. A sudden quake shook the building. What the? A lost visual. That area's eye of hatred was destroyed. Smoke now poured across the room where Chong Mo and the others had been. And from within that haze, a crowd of berserk patients began to emerge. The cloakman noticed immediately, it's those berserk patients. They must still be hiding inside that room. Suddenly, Jin Jichi shouted, the red eyes, they're gone. Those berserk patients must have destroyed them with their powers. Without missing a beat, the group followed her and ran. While running, Changimo turned to Nurse Shaoling. Shaoling, do you still have a chain you used to restrain me? She nodded. Yes. It's in the equipment room, second floor. Then that's where we're going. Changimo said firmly. Elie praised him. Smart move. If you absorb the rational energy in that chain, you'll regain your mobility. Zhang Jiechi led the group scanning ahead as she ran. Left corner up ahead, red eye, go right. Elie whistled, nice. Her vision can cut through walls. No wonder her emotional power is eye-based. But suddenly, Zhang Jiechi came to a halt. Crap, red eyes ahead and behind. We're boxed in. Behind them, one blood red eye was closing in. And ahead of them, another floated steadily toward them. Zhang Jiechi was on edge, her body tense with fear. Nurse Shaoling looked like she was about to break down. Shinju simply stared, wide-eyed, frozen. Then boom, explosions erupted both in front and behind them, flames lighting up the hall. Shaoling blinked dazed. What just happened? Zhang Jiechi snapped back, eyes wide. It was the berserk patients. Their powers, they destroyed both of those red eyes. That's insanely lucky. Chengdu grinned, told you gotta stay positive. Every time I think like that, I end up dodging disaster. Zhang Jiechi and Nurse Xiaoing slowly turned to stare at him. Chong Mo finally spoke up. Jinju, don't tell me. Your emotion power is luck.
Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.